Okay, final eyeshadow declutter video. This one is high-end larger palettes. I have a high-end to luxury smaller palettes that's already been uploaded. And I also might have, like I have Jeffree Star here and I have some of my like empty palettes or like palettes that I filled up with stuff because I didn't really know where else to put these. So let's get started. We're gonna start off with like a show and tell portion. So this is just a MAC palette that's filled with MAC eyeshadows. I'm not gonna go through color by color. I'm just showing you that this is in my collection. As you can see, kind of warm neutrals. Okay, so this is a Makeup Forever empty palette. This just has all Makeup Geek in here. This has Colored Rain, some MAC, and these are Looksy Beauty. Lastly, these are all of my Divina Cosmetics eyeshadows. I adore these, obviously. I have slowly but surely picked up a whole bunch and I dip into this palette more often than you think. Like, it's so good. Okay, all of our Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows. I know this is kind of crazy, but I think I'm gonna declutter like all of these except for the Mario palette. So the Mario, I'm not gonna swatch these, I'm sorry guys. But the Mario palette to me is like the most unique. They're the shades that I gravitate towards the most. And while I feel like the formula is consistent throughout like all of them, this is just the only one that I reach for like ever. So obviously the first one I picked up was the Modern Renaissance and I liked it and I used it. But I don't know, I think maybe because the formula is dusty and that is what does prevent me from reaching into these shadows that often. Like very, very soft. And then this is Soft Glam. This is the second one I picked up. I like this one too, but I don't reach for it. Okay, maybe I'll keep one of these. I should keep one of these in my collection just to make sure that I really don't reach for it, right? Let's think about that. And then we have the Sultry. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'll keep the Soft Glam. I'm gonna declutter both. If I want them again, I'm sure around the holidays they'll go on sale and I can pick it up again, right? Okay, we'll declutter all of them. This is the Viseart Dark Mattes. I also have the, is it Neutral Mattes? My mom has it right now, so I am keeping that one and this one. These are my favorite. I have, I think, a whole bunch of other Viseart ones that I've probably decluttered earlier. So once the blog sale gets going, you'll probably see them in there. But I love this one so much. My lid has like popped off. Obviously mine is when it first released, and nowadays they have like ones where the eyeshadows come out. And I've just swatched some of my like favorite colors in here. Viseart's mattes are really superior. I think Viseart does great mattes. Natasha Denona's most recent formulas, her mattes are also really great. I think Pat McGrath, right? Those are like the top three. This is the Brown Nude Palette from Black Up. They no longer carry this at Sephora, but I believe it's still carried at Macy's. I love this palette. No one talks about it, I swear. Like, nobody ever mentions this. But it's so good. I had my sister get one and she loves it because she really wanted like a red that was like a wearable kind of like warm tone. But I travel with this. I've traveled with this so many times and only this. If I bring this palette, it's very likely I don't need to bring anything else because it does everything I need. Smoky eye, warm tone, neutral. Just the only thing I'm probably missing is if I want like a sparkly color. But other than that, like, I mean, then I can just bring like a single shadow, but I love this so much. And those are some swatches. Oh, it's like 10 a.m. now, so I'm getting some sunlight. So if you guys see some shadows, I'm sorry. But look how beautiful these, no one talks about this. I love it. Okay, Urban Decay Naked Cherry and Urban Decay Naked Heat. I probably picked these up last year around the holidays because, you know, they go on sale. So I haven't purchased a Naked palette in a really long time, especially in the Naked line. I just wasn't interested in all the ones that were being released. And even when these came out, I was just like, whatever. But this was like on sale, right? It had to be like half off or something. And I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. That's what this palette looks like. And this one also went on sale at some point and I grabbed it too. Urban Decay's formula for these two, I say the mattes are drier. Actually, everything in here is like drier in formula, I think. Especially compared to like the Born to Run, which I'll show you guys next. So the major complaint I've seen with these palettes is that you can only create like the same kinds of looks. But that is the expectation, right? When you are focusing on like a specific shade range, or you're being inspired by a specific color, you know what I mean? So I don't really mind that. And I mean, if they came out with like Be Naked in Blue Water or what, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be into that, but I do like these kind of tones. So I don't mind. And so the top is Naked Cherry and the bottom is Naked Heat. This is the Urban Decay Born to Run, and the mattes in here I find to be slightly less drying. They're still not creamy mattes, but they're not drying, and I do love the packaging. It's very like wish you were here postcard vibe. So I don't know, but there is this feeling of it like being printed and then stuck on that feels a little off to me, especially when you feel like how the Naked Cherry, Naked Heat feel. Those feel so, like really luxe palettes. But this does have really good weight to it, and this whole thing is like, none of it's like cardboard. So I didn't have this palette while I was traveling, or like when I was going to travel. I picked it up after I had taken some trips. So this is, however, something I would travel with. You really have everything you need in here, and the whole top is mattes, and then down here you have some more colorful mattes with some shimmer metallics. It's really good, and I'm keeping this one. And those are some swatches. I mean, you really have the option to do anything you want here. This is the Makeup Forever Let's Gold palette. I really love this palette. I know a lot of you guys probably, like me, read Talia's blog, and she gave this a horrible rating. I tend to agree with most of her reviews. I disagree with this one, and I have found that when she reviews like kind of like pressed glitter pigment type shadows, like MAC Dazzle Dust pressed, or say like just items like that she tends to review them poorly, and I always really like those kind of like glitter lid topper type shades. But I love this. If you go into this understanding that it's like a buildable formula, then I think you'll be fine. These don't swatch beautifully, I'll give you that much. But every time I use it, my eye look is so pretty. And then these bottom shades, when you get these under like light, if you wear these like at night in like restaurant lighting, like it is sophisticated and pretty, but still like glittering. I really love this. And those are some swatches. So you can see they're not like super pigmented. I mean, some shades are, but you're not gonna look at swatches of this and think, oh my God, I need it. But I really love this palette. You can do so much with it. When I look at it, I think for like a beginner, or if you just wanna like eliminate any kind of like thinking, you can just think of them as in trios, and you will be able to kind of create a look around it. So yep, that is my 2 cents here. This is the Tartelette Toasted palette. I don't even know if I have any other Tarte palettes, do I? Oh, there was like that mini that I decluttered because like of shade, not because of formula. But everything in this like Tartelette like shape palette that's been released, I cannot get on board. This was probably on sale, so I picked it up to try it out, and I used it, and then I didn't want to use it again. Then I forced myself to use it again, and I don't like it. I mean, I know a lot of people like it, but I just don't. There's something about the formula. It's dusty and it's dry, and I don't like the feel of the shadows, like if that makes any sense. I don't like the feel of the mattes. I don't like the feel of the metallics. And I honestly never understand when people do mattes and then put glitter in them, because the glitter goes away or it ends up on your face. So anytime that is done, I don't understand that. But those are swatches. This is the Pretty Vulgar Venus Rising palette. Again, I mean, you guys know I don't buy anything full price, like very rarely, but this was, again, it was on sale in the Sephora sale section. And then after the holidays, they like they put 20% off of everything in the sale section. So I picked this up, and I love this. It is so good. I feel like this, again, is probably a brand that got a lot of love when they released because their packaging was really like different and fun. But since then, I don't feel like a lot of people talk about the brand, and I really love this eyeshadow palette. Those are swatches. I mean, seriously, like just one swipe through. And then for the mattes, like the two dark ones on the bottom, that's like 2 swipes blended out. But, so good. So good. So we've got Pat McGrath. This is Platinum Bronze. Love. Her formula really is just so outstanding. Swatching is beautiful upon application when you're blending. Everything is just so good. And then this one is Vie En Rose. Here, I mean, we always have to do this. If you are like a huge Pat McGrath fan, Selfridges has started carrying her brand, and because like she is British, they have kind of like facilitated these collabs that are just insane, like Pat McGrath Versace, Pat McGrath like with cookies and biscuits and like alcohol, and so many things are like limited edition. And I would say, I mean, you would have to probably get a Selfridges Global Plus membership. Her collabs with every brand has been amazing. I think she even collabed with like Byredo, or it was just like so many amazing things. Anyway, on a tangent. So the top is Platinum Bronze and the bottom is Vie En Rose. I'm wondering if I need to declutter Vie En Rose, but I mean, maybe later. I can't do it yet. Here is Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction. This is probably, is this the first one I picked up from her? I think so, because when this released, everyone was like, oh my God, so amazing, because it is in fact the most wearable, easy thing. Because you have your crease shade, and then from there, you can pretty much use any of these, and they are stunning. Her formula is just beyond, guys. Like, you know how people talk about creamy mattes? These aren't creamy mattes, but they're not dry, but they're not like, they don't kick up a lot of dust. They're amazing. And those are swatches from the Bronze Seduction. The next two I'm going to show you, I don't know the name because it's not on the palette. So if you take them out of their cardboard packaging, you're kind of left clueless. But obviously everything will be linked in the description in order of appearance. So this palette, actually, if you take away the green, is in fact very like an easy palette to use. But this green shifts to purple and it is stunning. So here are swatches. So the green, do you see? If you use that as like an only, like a one shadow look, I've done it before. When you blend out the edges, oh my God. And this is just in like natural lighting. Like imagine with like the right kind of lighting. So that's this one. And this is the last one that I have. And swatches. Seriously, her like special shadows, which are the ones you tend to see on the far right, they really are special. Like they're so good. Although if you are interested in this very similar formula, Topshop's holographic, is that what they call them? Those shadows are really good. I'll link them below. They're singles. Okay, Natasha Denona, the gold palette. I picked this up off of eBay. I shared it with you in a vlog. That seller was doing them for such a good price. It's like if you bought one, it was X amount. If you bought two, you got like 15% off. And I had like a coupon like from eBay directly. So I ended up getting the Safari palette also. And I believe these are what, $129 for each palette. I ended up paying, I think, $160 for both. And I was just like beyond myself. Like, how did I do this? Super amazing. I love Natasha Denona eyeshadows. Anything since the release of, I want to say the palette before Safari, maybe. Was that the Tropical? Or even before that. I want to say at some point her formula changed and I really enjoyed her stuff. The top are swatches of some from the gold and the bottom are some from Safari. Okay, I wasn't going to share this one, but this is the Biba. This is very new. I just picked it up in the VIB sale. Or rather, I was very close to 2,500 like Rouge reward points. So I put in my first order and I hit the like threshold to redeem the points so that I can get the $100 reward. And that's when I grabbed this. So this was only like 30 bucks for me. So I feel like it was well deserved and well earned. So this is probably the most used because it is the easiest to use. I have like my mustardy shades, which I love, all kinds of really beautiful warm tones. And then probably Sculpture doesn't get used, but everything else I use in this palette. So it's a good palette for me. This is an Estee Edit, again, discontinued brand. The Estee Lauder Victoria Beckham eyeshadow palette in the first release was very similar to this. I just love this, and I know I need to declutter it, so I'm going to do it, but I really love these shades. I don't know why Estee Lauder's like namesake brand line of eyeshadows isn't like this, or maybe they are now. I have to explore more because all the stuff that was kind of released in the Estee Edit are things that I really liked, i.e. eyeshadows, face palettes, bronzers. So I'll give you swatches. I mean, the formula is just gorgeous, right? I almost feel like I should just keep this palette just for that green because I don't have anything like that. The Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, I think, is this the only Too Faced eyeshadow palette I have? It might be. Smells like chocolate. I really love this. It is like, I feel like you probably could easily travel with this palette even though it doesn't immediately upon first glance look like you can, because you basically have two shades that can go in the crease. You have your black and you have your lid shade, and then everything else is literally something you can play with. So I almost thought about decluttering this, but I'm gonna keep it because it really is a useful palette and it does have really awesome like pops of color. Ugh, how many times do people say that? And how many times do we not want to say it? And those are swatches. I mean, the two greens are gorgeous. The center bottom, that Drippin' Diamond shade, I would never use that, but I just wanted to swatch it so you guys could see it. And I didn't swatch any of the mattes because those are like boring. So this is the Huda Beauty New Nude, and I do like this palette a lot. I have picked up the two that came out before this and returned them because I like them, but I didn't love them. And those colors were a very, like, she really knows trends. I mean, she starts a lot of them, but those just felt very trendy to me, and like a lot of palettes had those kind of vibes. Whereas this one, I mean, it's much more nude, obviously, but it's all nude with like a hint of pink or purple, which is really gorgeous. And I've mentioned before that I think the KKW Classic Blossom is kind of a summarized version of this. I still stand behind that. They're very, very similar. So the KKW Beauty, that doesn't have like these kind of like fancy, like cool looking shades. And obviously there's no glitters. I find this to be, to some degree, a waste of a palette for me, even though I'm going to keep it because I'm never going to touch those glitters. I don't really like those. And then these quote unquote like more unique looking shades are actually quite similar, but they're still really pretty. So I'm gonna give it that. But the formula in this is really good, and I would recommend this palette to you outside of the two glitters. And those are swatches. It's more or less a matte palette. And then I wanted to swatch like the 4 special shades so you could see on the lid, the first 2 look very similar and the last 2 look very similar. In swatching, yeah, they all look different, but on the lid, I don't see a huge difference because I have smaller lids. If you have larger lids, I think you would see a difference because they would flash differently on you. But yep, those are swatches. All right, the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar Palette. It comes in this awesome, amazing packaging. I know there is so much going on with whatever's going on in the beauty community right now. James Charles, Tati, Jeffree Star, right? I don't know when this is gonna go up. I hope by then it's all blown over. But this palette, I mean, it is that bottom row. I feel so many things I never really wanted to purchase any of his items, not because of him or anything specific like that. It was just more like the color combinations of his palettes were not things that I would use a lot. Until I saw this and I was like, I need this. This is something I need. And the quality of the shadows are fantastic. So let me give you swatches. Okay, on top we have some matte shades and like a mix of texture. And then the bottom is just the whole bottom row. I mean, I love so much. Okay, this is a palette that I haven't even opened yet. It's the Essential Jet Set from Jouer. I don't know if I have like Jouer eyeshadows. What's going on? I picked this up off of Beauty Bay, like no joke. I really think it was like $7 and I was like, okay, let me try this out because the colors seemed very like easy to use. And okay, look. Also, we'll see how these swatches go because my hand is like stained from the Jeffree Star shadows. Okay, I'm happy about this palette. I'm keeping this. This is like so, this reminds me of like, you know, remember when the Elsie Essentials palette? Is that the one? Anything that kind of like just does like these few shades. I don't know, I like this. Keeping. So the Declutter pile is actually just 4 palettes. And then this is like, I guess this is in the Declutter pile. And then these are the Keeps. Oh, and those 3 Makeup Forever palettes in the MAC palette. I don't know. I really didn't intend on decluttering very much from here anyway, so this is like not a surprise for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am so happy to be done with eyeshadow declutters because these are the most time consuming. Yeah, moving on.